Hi, this is Tiffany with Raising House and Home, and today I'm going to share with you 5 easy, budget-friendly crock-pot meals that you can start making this week. This meal is our Mississippi pot roast. I've got 3 steaks that I purchased in 2020, so July of 2020. In this bottle, we have Italian seasoning. And then I have this jar of I always say this wrong, pepperoncini. And then I do have a thing of pepper, 1 package of the ranch seasoning, and a package of the brown gravy. And you only need about a 1/4 cup or so of butter. First steak. And I'm gonna take a little bit of the gravy mix, a little bit of the ranch in on that top layer. So now I'm going to put in 1 more steak, put it on top of that, and we're going to layer it again. This is the brown gravy. Save a little bit for the top one, and then here's the ranch. 1 more layer of steak, like that. All the rest of the packaging will go in just like that. And then the brown gravy that we had left over, that's gonna finish in there. Go some pepper in there. And we have our Italian seasoning, and I'm not gonna go too heavy on it. And we have the pepper. So you put everything in there, including the juices, because that's kind of the cooking liquid that you need. So if you want to put a little bit of water in, some people are nervous without putting some water in, you can, but you really don't have to. And then the last bit of the recipe is some butter. It's about half, like this. And the great thing is you don't have to stir it. I am going to cook this on low for 8 hours. So I just want to show you that this is almost done. But I moved these around a little bit so that some of that juice will get in between each layer. So it's a little dark in here because it's getting late at night and we are getting ready to eat, but I want to show you what it looks like when it's done. And so you'll see that you shred up the beef. And then I made some homemade mashed potatoes and just some green beans on the side. And one of the steaks that I took out, I'm going to use for a meal tomorrow night. So here is the other dinner that we made from the Mississippi beef. And I just made it into taco meat. So I made a taco salad here. You could do anything like an actual taco shell or burritos. You can make beef fajitas with it. Super simple, whatever you have in your pantry or your fridge to add to the taco meat. I've even put taco meat over a baked potato and made like taco potatoes. There's so many things you can do with these leftovers. It saves time and it saves a lot of money. So our third meal is going to be a pork roast in the crock pot. We have about a 2.5 to 3 pound portion of the large pork roast that I bought at Sam's Club. And then over here we've got a whole bunch of potatoes, maybe about 3 pounds of potatoes. We've got some salt and pepper, some ginger, cinnamon, onion, and garlic. Yes, ginger and cinnamon. I know it sounds weird. But just wait. And there's going to be apples and carrots and onions. And by the magic of the camera, everything is miraculously clean and chopped and ready to go. And then I'm going to salt it. And you can do this to taste. I'm putting quite a bit on because we're going to be putting water in. And you want kind of the flavors to come out. I'm going to put in the potatoes. All right, so I'm just gonna move these around a little bit because I want to have enough room for the other vegetable. I have the onions, and I leave them big because not everybody in my family likes onions. I have the apples, and I have all of the carrots. And hopefully it's all gonna fit in here. A tablespoon of garlic. Sorry, I had to pause for just a second because of the pepper and the onions are making my eyes water, so I couldn't see what I was doing. But anyway, those were fresh onions. So I'm also going to put about a tablespoon of onion powder. Here's something that you can leave out if you want, but it really makes it taste so good, and it's cinnamon. And I don't really use cinnamon that much, except for sweets. But this doesn't have sugar, so it's a different type of flavor when it's cooked with these. And the carrots are a little sweet. So you get like the sweetness from the carrots, and then you get kind of the onions have a little sweetness when they're cooking as well. And then mixed with the cinnamon, it's really good. Put about, I would say, half a teaspoon of ginger. And then I decided I'm gonna put in some sage. I have just a little bit left of this discount sage. I think that will help with the savory flavor. So we're gonna just use the rest of that up. Okay, so I am back and I've got about 2 cups of water. I may need more, I may need less. We're just gonna see, because we do want it to cover everything. So I am gonna need another 2 cups. So I will put that in, so that'll equal 4 cups of water if you're writing this recipe down. And I'm going to start it on low for 8 hours. So I added some cottage cheese because there's something about cottage cheese and pork roast that I really love. And we also have just some plain old bread and butter. And this is so fork tender. You're going to love this one. So this is our 4th crock pot recipe, and it is the last part of our Sam's Club pork roast. And this is the tenderloin part. This is where like the darker meat is, a little bit more fatty, which is perfect for, can you guess what I'm gonna make by these ingredients? I'm going to make pulled pork sandwiches. So I'm using my smaller crock pot because we're just not gonna have any vegetables or anything in there. And definitely salt and pepper this. Okay, so we're going to do half a cup of brown sugar, some onion powder, and this is to taste. I'm going to do about a teaspoon. If you can't tell, I don't really measure the spices. I just kind of eyeball it. That's how my grandmother cooked. I'm going to do a teaspoon of this garlic powder as well. And I'm going to add some paprika because that gives it like that smoky barbecue flavor. And I add a lot. I would say it's about 2 teaspoons. Could be a tablespoon, but that's about how much I add. And to me, you can't really add too much of that because it gives the smoke flavor, but it's not a heat. So it's not going to be like super spicy. And it kind of gives it a little bit of sweetness too. Then we're going to also put in some mustard. So for the mustard, I'm trying to eyeball it. I would say that was about a 1/4 cup. And then for the ketchup, I'm going to say about a cup. About half a cup of water. You want to mix it all up and get all the spices incorporated. So it's not just ketchup. You don't want just that flavor of ketchup. I'm going to put this on low for 8 hours. This is what it looks like with the pulled pork that I had in the crock pot, and it's the rest of the pork that we had left over. There is some coleslaw on top and just some easy, quick frozen French fry. And this is a favorite of our kids and my husband as well. This is a really easy way to use up some leftovers, save time, save money, and use what you have in the fridge. And I wanted to show you what I did with the leftover pork roast. And even though this isn't in the crock pot, it was basically cooked in the crock pot with the pork roast. And it's a super quick throw in the frying pan dinner. So I mushed everything together. You can use your food processor, or I just used my handy dandy masher. And you put lots of butter in the pan and just fry it up so you can make a hash. So instead of corned beef hash, you're just making pork hash. And all the vegetables are in there, all the juices and the leftover meat. And then after I fry this up, I'm gonna do some fried eggs. And so it's kind of a twist on breakfast for dinner, which everybody in my family absolutely loves. So I've added my egg and a little bit of pumpkin bread that I recently cooked. And I have the recipe for you up here in the upper right hand corner. So our next meal in the crock pot is going to be the honey garlic chicken. And you can use cloves of garlic if you have them. I just happen to have the powdered garlic, which is just as fine for me. And then I have the ground ginger, some honey, some soy sauce, and you can't really read it because the oil leaked on the package, but that is sesame oil, some balsamic vinegar, and you can use whichever vinegar that you have on hand. You can use white vinegar, rice vinegar, apple cider vinegar. I am a big cheerleader for using what you have in your pantry. And then I also have some onion powder. I'm going to be adding the stir-fry vegetables. And so I think it has some onions in it. Yeah, so this already has onions in it. So I'm not going to cut up anything extra because it's already in this frozen bag. And anything that can save us some time, that's amazing. And then I took this 5-pound bag of boneless chicken breast out of my deep freezer. I need to use this up. It has been frozen probably for about a year, year and a half. So I definitely want to use it as soon as possible. I apologize if you hear the water starting to boil behind me. It is noontime, so I'm making lunch and getting supper started for tonight at the same time. So I apologize if you hear sounds in my kitchen. But I am going to put in the chicken. I'm going to put in all the chicken, and that is about 3 pounds. And then I'm going to add the ginger. So the recipe calls for 4 chicken breasts with their bones in, but I don't like to cook with the bones in the crock pot for a meal like this. I try to do things that are as easy as possible, and this recipe needs the chicken shredded up, and I just didn't want to have to take it out, put it on a plate, take it off the bone, all of those things. Crock pot meals to me are things that are easy that you can do to put a good meal on the table without a lot of effort. So I am using chicken breasts that are boneless. Here is a 1/2 cup of soy sauce, about 1/3 cup of honey, and I'm just gonna eyeball this because honey is really hard to get out of measuring cups. So I'm just going to eyeball this. That's about 1/3 of a cup. 2 tablespoons of vinegar. And again, I'm just gonna eyeball it. It's about 1 tablespoon, about 2 there. And I love balsamic vinegar with soy sauce and honey, so if there's just a little bit extra in there, I'm not sad. And then some sesame oil. And you really don't need this for this recipe if you don't have any at home. It will still taste great without it. This just gives it a little bit of a kick. So I'm going to be very careful. And that's all I'm going to put in. It is very strong. And I don't want it to taste overwhelmingly like sesame oil. And then we're going to do the ginger. This is 2 teaspoons of ginger. And some onion. Again, you can put in as much or as little as you want. Garlic. Again, you can put in as much as you want. If you like it heavy on garlic, if you like it there, not quite so heavy, then don't put that much in. We're gonna let this cook on low for about 5 hours. And about the 4, maybe 3 hour mark, I'm gonna put the vegetables in. And this is the final product for our teriyaki chicken with the stir-fry vegetables and some rice there at the bottom. Thank you so much for watching. Please click subscribe below and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I put up a new video. And thanks again for all your comments and your emails. I love them. Keep them coming. And stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. And until next time, bye-bye.